All right, now the fun begins. We're in Photoshop for real, not Camera Raw. And notice our file. It still has the .dng. But once we work on this and save it, it's going to save out as a PSD file. So we're not going to overwrite our digital negative. Have no fear about that. First thing, and before I say first thing, there's always so many different ways to do this. This is one new way for you to develop textures in Photoshop from your photographs after they've been run through Camera Raw. Okay, so now getting back to this, let's go to Adjustments and pick a black and white adjustment layer. When we click on that, it drops in an adjustment layer and we get kind of a blah picture, which is the default. It should be called blah because typically it is. Now remember back at that histogram in the red channel and the blue channel, how the blue was pushed toward the darks and the red was pushed toward the lights in this particular image. Every image is different, so that means all of these steps are going to be different. Right now, if we change this default, look, high contrast blue, high contrast red. This blue was in the dark range, right? What do you expect will happen when we click on that? That's right, a very dark texture, huh? With some areas that may be, somewhere in here is pure black. Maybe it's right there. We could get the eyedropper and sample and find it for real, but right now that's not important. What we want to do is compare the high contrast blue to the high contrast red. And you go, whoa, whoa, how different could these two, it's as if we're looking at two different images, don't you think? And it's because those two channels were so very different. Now, we could run through all of these, but what was the other color in our RGB image? What was the other color? Now, if we compare the high contrast red to green, this is a little more sedate and maybe a better choice. But which one do we pick? Well, the good thing is you don't have to stick with it. It's an adjustment layer. You can change again and again and again and again and again and pull out more and more and more textures. Just for kicks, I'm going to go ahead and choose the high contrast blue filter, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to generate 5 or so textures very quickly from this one single image, and then we can change our black and white adjustment layer and continue the process in order to get 10, 12, 20 different textures out of one single image.